Those were the 2 dogs we had until we had children. Then they were both allergic, so we had to rehome them.
What great
The
Dane?
children?
I wish. The dogs. We had a Bernese Mountain Dog and a Great Pyrenees. Every morning, the kids are like, I gotta get rid of the dogs. I mean, they'd be like, Daddy,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Redefining Live podcast. You're going to be watching us talk about all kinds of shit today that you didn't ever expect to hear about in one podcast. Over here, we got Mr. Jeff Suter. Right here, we got Mr. Jared Blake. I'm Bigg Vinny. Introduce us to your partner, Jeff.
We got the most recent winner of Hell's Kitchen, Chef Alex Belew.
Yay.
Dear friends,
here.
When he got
his
done with it,
brother.
was Hell Yeah Kitchen.
I was told about him before he came in, and when he walked in, you don't look like a chef. I don't think people trust you as a chef, man. You look too
Never
good.
trust
I
us.
look like a chef.
He looks a little bit like a chef. I don't.
Boy,
It might look like you ate me.
I ate the chef from Hell's Kitchen. I'm from
Like a corn
Heaven's. I'm from
dog.
Heaven's Gate.
Stick it all.
Stick it on. It's coming right out the poop scoop there.
Just yank it out.
Well, so now, not knowing that he's had your cooking before.
Yes,
I haven't.
several times.
I haven't, but I can honestly say that even if you couldn't cook, I get why you were on the show, because immediately this guy sat down and we just all started laughing. We started hanging out, and it was like you became boys instantly, and you were on fire. So, I mean, I know that both of us were on reality shows, and it wasn't for our talent necessarily, because there's a lot of talented people out there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was the fact that the camera came on and you lit up. You know, and we saw that in you immediately.
I was on there because I weighed 500 pounds.
That was the whole
and you
premise
lit
of the
up.
show, yeah.
And I lit up, buddy. I did.
And
Now,
I haven't
given
made
this-
it there yet. What's wrong over here?
Given there
Naked
are
and
more
afraid, it's
people,
coming.
You're
Don't
still
worry.
young.
there are more
You're still
people in
young.
America that can sing than there are that weigh 500 pounds. So you,
This is true.
I'm not sure that's correct anymore. The statistics of weight are insane in this country.
Yeah, but then a lot-
37% obese.
But a lot of fat people can sing. It's just like it comes natural to you when you get fat.
You just got a natural vibrato.
Yeah, it's like
Your belly makes
you
it.
got something
is that
stuck
it,
in your
or is
throat,
it because you just didn't?
Corn dog.
Is that it, or did you not work out because you were just singing? Like
Maybe no. I worked out still. I mean, I was very strong even when I was a big boy. I mean, I could do the worm and the splits and all that stuff at 500 pounds,
Boy, that'd be
and actually get off the ground.
Still does it. That's impressive.
So I mean,
Whoa.
yeah. So I mean, I wasn't ever. That's the connotation you always get, like, oh, fat and lazy. But most of the people, almost everybody that I was on Biggest Loser with, none of them were lazy. All of them were like, they all had successful jobs. They all had all this stuff that they did, and then none of them were lazy.
Is it
They
just
all-
a diet thing?
No, it was
Overeating?
childhood trauma
Okay.
or relationship trauma of some sort that.
and 7 pizzas a day,
But leads
from
them
the
to
trauma.
overeating.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think everybody that gets to 500 pounds, their drug of choice. Some of them will do alcohol and food, but most of them is like that fast food is that dopamine dump that they need at the end of the day to sit in the room. Like me, I would hide eating from everybody else. I wouldn't go eat around people. I'd just be like, no, I'm good. I don't need no food. Then at nighttime, I'd be over that dollar menu at McDonald's. Give me 4 of those double cheeseburgers. Give me a chicken sandwich. Give me a big high C. Give me 4 orders of fries. And I'd eat all that sitting in my bed watching Netflix.
At once?
At one time.
And
talking about-
it's true because he just recited it like that.
Oh, dude.
That was your order?
Yeah, and then you know what else I had at the house? All the time. It's my favorite. It's my go-to.
Edibles.
No, edible underwear. And let me tell you something. That guy that wear
Underwear
them.
made of weed.
Yeah. No, I would go into the kitchen and I would have that big old tub of ice cream. You know, the Purity ice cream. It has like the whole quart tub or whatever.
The
Grandma's
plastic
ice cream.
one.
Yeah, the big plastic one. I would have that in there. Sometimes I'd do just regular vanilla. Sometimes I'd do the Neapolitan. You know, that way I have the variety in my life.
it up.
And I just sit there in my bed and just eat that, dipping Doritos in it. I don't know why.
God.
Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos, and vanilla ice cream.
Oreos or
I
something
mean,
like that.
you know,
Chef.
fries and Frosties, Doritos and Neapolitan
Love
Purity
ain't
ice
nothing
cream.
but a Frosty.
Cool Ranch or like nacho
Cool
cheese?
Ranch,
All right,
Cool
there we go.
Ranch.
I can see that.
I was
see
a
that
Cool
mix.
Ranch guy. I mean, I like nacho cheese, but Cool Ranch or that late night taco when they had.
Excuse
for a
me, I
while.
gotta go to
That one was
Kroger real
pretty good.
fast.
No, but I mean, I think it's like I said, it was. It came from most people had some kind of trauma in their life. I mean, it could have been a mom or dad died whenever they were really young. Just something that made them. You're looking to fill a hole. So most people that are addicted to anything, they're looking to fill some kind of emptiness inside of them. And obviously, I found now that you can fill it with Jesus and a lot of working out. But back then, I mean, the way I filled that hole, if I was happy, I was eating because I was celebrating. If I was sad, I was eating because I was trying to make myself happy again so I could celebrate because it felt like a celebration. So I think the same thing a lot of people do with drugs and alcohol and, porn or whatever they're into,
So we'll get right a song that says Jesus fills my hole.
Yeah. I like it.
Yep. You call him that? He was talking about filling holes a lot.
It's a riff on Jesus Take the Wheel.
Jesus,
fill my hole.
I like it.
Take this corn dog. Anyway,
I had no doubt this was going to work. There was never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
So in Atlantic City, when you go back, you're going to serve ice cream with Doritos.
That's my special for the weekend. Yep.
Hey, let me just I'm going to throw this nugget at you. And I don't mean a chicken nugget. Chocolate gravy and biscuits.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing, for sure.
I mean, it's the best thing in the world.
Have you ever tried Lay's with honey on them on top of ice cream?
No, but I would.
It's like the thing.
Ice cream, that's that dude's weakness, bro.
Get some Lay's, put them in a bowl.
Else.
I've been trying to get Lay's ever since I got married.
Vanilla ice cream on top. Found out about it on Hell's Kitchen, and it is, sweet, salty, cold, crunchy. Good. It's good.
Well,
it's a bowl gasm.
Tell us about Hell's Kitchen. So I want to know because
specifically
because this is the stuff that no one ever talks about with us with reality. How'd you wind up on there? What actually happened?
Depression.
Depression?
Yeah, for sure.
He was trying to fill a hole.
Yeah. Well, so none of it would have happened if it wasn't for COVID. Like, shut my restaurant down. It was a very small restaurant, so by the time they allowed us to open with limited capacity, for us, that was only 12 people. And unless I'm charging $600 a head, 12 people is not going to make a business successful. So about 3 or 4 months down the line into June of 2020, I turned it into a meal prep restaurant. Was successful, doing pretty good numbers, but the team was gone. The actual dining was gone. The creativity was gone. The guests were gone. It was just standing in my restaurant that I had built all alone. And it was a very sad place to be. And so in June of 2021, I saw an application. Like, we were really discussing, because my wife had gotten sent home. She works for State Farm. And we were really discussing, like, packing up everything and just moving to Montana. Like, just giving it up, saying, this is not the life for us. This is all life has to offer. Me staring out this glass window into a parking lot and you staring at our 4 walls. And so we're just going to move on. And then I saw the application, filled it out, literally 6 months of nonstop interviews, drug tests, alcohol tests, blood work, EKG, psychological evaluations, background checks, the whole gamut. December 23rd, they call and say, you made the show. And then, so sold my restaurant between Christmas and New Year's. That's kind of. Yeah, well, that's been a, had to sue the guy later. But
if you want to send Vinny in there, I can do it. Hey,
no, everything's getting worked out now, but it's been a 1.5-year process. And then went and filmed the show. Quarantined us in a hotel room in LA for 15 days before we started filming. COVID protocols, more than likely. And then started filming the show. One thing led to another. And February 6th, I walked out the door winner. And then
you get like a golden
year
spatula
later,
or something?
No. The news headlines tell everybody that I got $250,000, though.
You're like, where the hell is that?
Wrong. So thanks for that. So why do people call me out of the woodworks? Bro, I need some dental work. I'm like, bro, I'm not your man.
Why do they say that?
Well, that's kind of the way they build the show. The winner of this year's Hell's Kitchen gets $250,000 in a job as head chef in Atlantic City. But $100,000 of that is allocated for your salary if you take the job. I turned it down. So that's gone. Taxes takes a very large chunk of a winning like that. So 40%.
40%
gone. So 40% of 150, pretty substantial number. And then I got into a pretty bad management deal last year where I was lied to a lot, and I took out a line of credit based on their advice for $90,000, and I had to pay that back. So at the end of it all, I walked away with great memories, great friends, and a pretty standard bank account.
Right.
Please don't call me for your financial advice.
You know what's funny, too, is like...
Can I borrow $1?
That's about all I got. Can I Venmo it to you?
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you know about us, but he was on The Biggest Loser, and I was on The Voice, and it was like almost instantly getting on there. People started sending you messages like you had a ton of money. Like they couldn't comprehend it. Like, you're famous now. You must be rich.
Right. Doesn't work like that.
No, I would get tweets from people like, hey, next time you see Justin Bieber, tell him I said hi. Yeah. We're hanging out all the time.
People
Well, at our
literally tell me, tell
famous
Gordon
people
I said
meeting.
hi, and I'm like,
Who?
Gordon, right? And I'm like, right. You mean FaceTime him right now?
Right.
But I don't have his number.
At our famous chef meeting every Monday morning.
Yeah, I see him all the time in Atlantic City. He's always never there.
He's always never there.
Only on filming days, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's incredibly busy. He's got so many shows going on in so many restaurants, and Hell's Kitchen is really more of a licensing deal with the Caesars group. I mean, it's a Caesars property. So I basically, when I'm there, I work for Caesars.
So they bring you in to go to these different properties and be like the weekly chef?
Just one. And so I couldn't move my family to Atlantic City for reasons that I really shouldn't
We
have
just
to
played
say
there
at this
last year, so we understand.
It's not, a family-friendly environment. And I'm not a huge lover of the casino environment anyway. Nobody knows what time it is.
Yeah.
I'm walking in my room at 1 o'clock in the morning, and people are like on the slot machines are like, hey, what time is it? I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. They're like, AM.
While they're smoking a cigarette, while they're hooked to an oxygen machine.
AM. They're like, give me another vodka soda. And I'm like, I don't work here.
At 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m. It kind of seems like, okay, well, it's late. I get it. But then when you get up at like 7 a.m. and they're still there, you're like, well,
Still there.
Like, who's getting drunk and gambling at 7 a.m.?
They've gone from drunk to sober to drunk again.
All I can say, either they have way more money than me, or they play 1 penny at a time.
It's 1 penny slots.
Yeah, they do. And they don't have any money.
No.
That's what they're doing.
I mean, it's like a 93% loss rate in casinos. It's insane.
We need to open a casino.
I had this one moment where I knew that I took the casino. I put $20 in, and I got $160 out. My wife goes, oh, good, we have like $140 of their money to spend. I was like, no, we're going to get a steak. I'm going to take the house tonight. I got my steak, and I was like, yeah, I felt like I won finally, you know?
I gambled one time. I lost $800 in 45 minutes. I was like 23, never gambled again.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I can't do it.
My wife can have fun with it. He has fun with it. I don't.
It's too hard to make money.
Like it.
It's too hard to make money. I'm not just going to throw it away.
And you mostly lose, and then I'm pissed off.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
So anyway, I turned down the job, but I still wanted to be involved. I mean, the show changed my life. It was one of the biggest blessings I've ever gotten.
One of the biggest things we talk about.
I wanted to be involved in some way. I just couldn't move my family there. So basically, me and Caesars worked out a deal where I'm there 1 weekend a month for 12 months, and the guests, like, they absolutely love it. The director of food and beverage sent me an email today and said, I just want to say thank you so much for continuing to come down here every month. And he attached a screenshot of 4 different open table reviews that guests left from this weekend.
That's awesome.
And for the people that love Hell's Kitchen, and there are a lot, for the people that love that show and love Gordon, for them to go eat in that restaurant and then see the actual guy that won the season that they just watched, it's like Christmas Day to them.
Yeah.
They're like, holy crap, he's real. And then I sit down with them and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, breathe. Yeah. I'm a normal dude, way dorkier than you actually think. So just how's dinner? And they're like,
it's the best dinner I've ever had in my life.
I had questions for you, and I don't know what they are now. And I'm like, I can come back.
Amazing what TV can do.
Now, is this like the one in Atlantic City?
Yeah, it's the one in AC.
Okay, so look, we're playing there.
When?
We are?
November 3rd.
Where?
At the Diabetes.
New Jersey?
Yeah, Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah.
That's where he's at. We're playing at that casino.
We're there.
I am not there that weekend, but
it's like November 3rd or 4th. We play there. We do this. It's a benefit for diabetes boot camp. And we're going in there to play. We're bringing Saving Abel because Jared Weeks actually has diabetes 1 since he was a kid. But you should be there. That's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe if you put me on the stage and I sing a song with you.
I'll bring you on the stage, bro. You don't think I won't?
He that's his dream job is probably band.
I've been a musician my whole life.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a song coming out next month, actually. But
what do you want to sing? What's your go-to?
I mean, we can do anything.
We'll do an original.
We can do. I've got an original on my phone right now. We can listen to it after this is over. Let's play it for the whole world.
Make sure we edit that into the podcast so that they can hear his single.
No, you could.
We got 25,000 listeners already.
Let's go.
I think it's actually 25, but I like to add zeros.
We like to just add that comma.
The zeros sounded good, didn't it?
Yeah, comma.
My mom has probably 20 of those downloads. So thanks, Mom. But so I'm there once a month. The restaurant is absolutely beautiful. The team crushes it. They're doing 400 or 500 covers a night. They crank out food so quickly. It's so consistent, and the people love being there. It's Hell's Kitchen is like a cult classic at this point. It's like the Hard Rock cafe of the '90s. Like people just love it, and it's really cool to be in there. The first time I walked down the stairs and I saw my face on the wall in the Wall of Winners, it was so surreal. Like, it was just like, man, I haven't seen this place in like a year.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So what is the plan now? You know, you're doing that and stuff, but do you want to go back to opening your own restaurant? Do you just want to travel up there the 1 week out of the month and then start working on being a rock star, or what's the goal?
To be happy doing what I get to do,
I
and
love
to
that.
wate up and say I get to go to work, not I have to go to work.
Yeah.
And to work with people that love what they do. I don't know that I have a goal right now, which if my wife hears this, she'll be like, "Dadgummit." But I don't like. I
She's
just
forcing self-help books too.
listen. Like 2010, I had to make a conscious decision: full-time chef, part-time musician, or part-time musician, full-time chef. I had to make that choice. We were doing pretty well. My band won 102.9 The Buzz Battle of the Bands. We got free this. We were going to get signed. My drummer and his wife got pregnant. He left the band because he had to go make money, and then the whole thing just kind of fell apart. And then I became a worship pastor for 8 years at a church here in town, a fairly big one. And then I opened the restaurant and didn't make music for 5 years. If you asked me, what would you rather do, food or music? There's no question in a heartbeat I would say music. But I also love food.
Yeah,
and
me
so
too.
I know for a fact that I cannot go back to running a restaurant the way that I did it because it damn near killed me.
Yeah.
And I was working 90 hours a week. I wasn't getting paid. I never saw my children. That is no way to live at all. Like, I was so broken and burnt. And if that happens, which I'm in talks with someone to do something in that capacity, but it cannot
money there to make sure
cannot be set up.
Can't
like
be
that.
90 hours.
It was all me. Like, it was all me.
Yeah.
My GM stole from me. He was my best friend. Left me. Walked out
I'm
on me.
gonna
And
let you know
went to
something.
Texas.
He wasn't your best friend.
Clearly.
Yeah.
But he's my best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
My roommate for a long time, and it didn't work out. And then it was exhausting. And I was a bitter, angry person, and I realized that now I'm so much different than I was 2-3 years ago.
Right.
I'm more humble now. I'm more gracious. The people that knew me then may have an idea of who I used to be, but I am not that dude anymore.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
you and I are a lot alike, and it comes. We were talking about earlier, where you wind up and not necessarily knowing where that is, and for me, it was music rather than the restaurant, and like when I lost my deal with Sony, it was probably 4 years before I picked up a pencil to write another song because it wasn't in me anymore. And the same thing of hitting COVID, you realize at some point, like, man, I spent my entire life focusing on something, just pounding it over and over and over again and not really getting where you could.
Right.
And you look at other friends of yours that a lot of them didn't necessarily have an idea of what they wanted to do. And because of that, they were just like, well, this over here works. And they went and did it, and life is great. And you're like, geez, man, sometimes having a passion almost hurts you.
Yeah.
Because you're so focused on it that you can't get around it. Hey, I don't have to make my living as a musician. I don't have to make my living as a chef. However I make my living is just how I make my living. I still get to be a chef. I still get to play music. And my wife said during COVID, something I tell on stage almost every night, she said, I was sitting at the piano and I had this disgusted look, I guess, on my face and very bitter, the same as like you were talking about, and just like, man, I spent all my time doing this. It's not paying the bills the way I want it to. It's paying, but not the way I want it to. And COVID hit, everything shuts down. And she goes, what's wrong, baby? And I said, I don't know who I am without music.
Right.
She was like, right. And she goes, it's easy. You're an idiot. And I
agreed.
I was like,
your honey keeping you grounded.
And she goes, listen, baby. She's like, music didn't go anywhere. You're sitting at a baby grand piano surrounded by guitars and all of your accomplishments. Music didn't go anywhere. The shows went somewhere, which means the fans went somewhere, which means the applaud went somewhere,
right?
Which means your ego went somewhere. You should probably question why it is you do music.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's right. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, that day started changing my entire scope of the way I look at things. So when you say, I just want to be happy and enjoy going to work and doing my job, that's where I'm at now. It doesn't make any difference to me if I'm writing children's books or if I'm swinging a hammer or if I'm cooking steaks on the grill. I just want to wake up every day and enjoy my life. And that whole idea that you said, I don't really have a plan right now. This is the first time in my life I haven't really had a plan. I got a bunch of little plans just kind of floating around out there, but I wake up every day happy. And I'm not really throwing anything out there like, this is what I got to accomplish or this is what I got to destroy. I stopped worrying somewhere during COVID because my entire life got taken. Vinny and I talk about this all the time. Our entire livelihood got taken away from us. And once we got over that, I was good then. I told my wife the other day something came up about money, and I was like, I'm not doing that just because of the money. And she was like, what? Because before I was very focused. We got to make this much money. We got to do this and this. And she was like, sometimes I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. And I was like, here's the thing. Like, when you can give up something like music that you've chased for so long and go, you know what? This is no longer going to rule over me. I'll be damned if I'm going to bow down to $1.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not. I'm going to pursue the things that make me happy and make everyone around me happy.
Yeah, and I used to do that. I used to just take gigs just because it was paying, and I would cheapen my own value, because if I'm being honest, like for a long time ago, Murfreesboro didn't put a lot of value on chefs and food, and maybe I'll get backlash for saying that, but that's just the truth. People would say they want me to cater their wedding for $10 a head, and I would be like, well, just got to make money, so I'll do it. But that's not valuing myself or the 25 years that it took me to get this good at what I'm doing. But I would do it, and I would do it for the dollar. And I don't do that anymore. And I know how to place value on myself and what I'm worth. But at the same time, like, music for me was my first love. And there's nothing that feels like that. I try to explain to people that aren't musicians. They're like, well, why do you like it so much? And there's this feeling that you get. It can even be during practice. But when you're playing with the band and it's clicking and it's tight and everybody's hitting the right chords and everybody's singing the right notes, and you don't even have to look at your chart, you don't need the numbers, you don't need anything, and it's just playing, there's a feeling that you get inside your bones that you cannot replace, and nothing can take it away. And and then when you put it in front of people and you see how it affects people, and there's nothing like the power of a song. And you can hear a song 20 years ago, and it can change your life then. You can hear it now, and it can have a totally separate meaning. And it's the same way with food, though. Food and music are the universal languages, and nothing can take it away.
And I don't disagree with that, but we get mixed up because we start putting a number amount on that past what just we need. You're looking at other people and their success and what they're doing, and you start to devalue what's happening. You know, like if I show up to a show and there's 50 people there, now I would be fine with it, but a couple of years ago that was not. I was going to be pissed off immediately and stay that way, because there was nothing in my head that could understand. Dude, 50 people just got up off of their couch and paid money to come down and see you.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it was before, like I needed at 500 to 5,000, whatever. So many shows that we've taken as musicians that was strictly just because, like, they were literally paying you in exposure. Oh, you know, it was like, hey, you're going to be at this big country fest. There's 10,000 people. That 10,000 people weren't there when you played. Right. At 3 p.m.
They're for the headliner. It's for the headliner.
But you got to say it, you know,
I opened for Garth Brooks 3 days earlier on a side stage at the RV camp down the road. It's all semantics. But I mean, like, I'm releasing a song next month, and it's for no one. It's not for anyone.
It's for you.
It's for me. Yeah. And I think if you've got a dream, what's the point in having a dream if you can't chase it? There's no money in it. I haven't pitched it to a label. There's no ulterior motive. I'm not trying to get it on the radio. I'm just putting a song out because I want to put a song out.
It's my new favorite single now.
Yeah.
Just because that's what it should be.
But I'm doing it for my kids. I want to show my kids. I'm 41.
Yeah.
I don't care. But
you don't look a day over 39 and a half.
Well, thank you. But I love making music, and it's like, so I'm going to do it. And if you want to make shoestrings for the rest of your life, then you go make the best damn shoestrings you can make.
I'm wearing Crocs. Well, they're not even real Crocs.
Well, you and my 6-year-old will get along famously. He's got Minecraft Crocs.
What are they called again?
They're called Rugged Sharks.
Rugged Sharks. That's right.
That's the
Walmart version.
This is the Wish version of Crocs.
I haven't got the kind with the inside.
Doesn't have the back strap. It doesn't move.
That smells.
There's no fast mode on these. You can't put the strap down, hold your ankle, hold your heel
just
in.
With the music thing, and I came to town to be a songwriter. And I thought that's all I was ever going to be because I weighed 500 pounds. You know, I thought nobody's going to sign me. And I had naturally always kind of flat-footed and
Jelly
danced.
roll.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah, Jelly, come
Killing
on. I was the original 500-pound man. But anyways, I signed this record deal. But I came to town to be a songwriter, and I didn't see that value in myself like you were talking about. You found your value because I saw myself as not good enough because I didn't fit the mold. Luckily for me, other people around said, nah, bro, you light up the room because you dance and you have fun and you don't care what anybody thinks. And that's exactly what you have to be on stage.
Yeah.
Because for me, if one person shows up, I get up there and I put on a show for that one person because I want that one person to leave and I want them to go tell other 5 people and those 5 people to come to the next show. Mm-hmm. Then I want those 6 people to go and tell 10 more people. that's kind of always the way I had it. And I think Jared's seen me do it sometimes. He's like, even when we were going through some weird times and some of the shows that we would get, you're like, and we set up this place. We were doing a Christmas tour. We showed up this place called Rattlers. Remember that, Rattlers?
No, I put that out of my memory. All right.
Woo, Lord, it was in somewhere in the middle of Florida.
Hepatitis.
No, it wasn't it was in Florida, but not on a beach. So it was somewhere in the middle of Florida. So we get there and we walk into Rattlers, and literally you walk in and you could cut through the smoke with a knife. There's so much cigarette smoke. We get in there and we said, we was setting up our own sound system, our own, own BA, all this stuff. We're walking in and out, and he's just like, I could just tell it was getting to him. And now we're doing this for charity to raise money for him. But it was like I was like, you didn't want to be there. And we get in there, and somehow we ended up raising like, I don't know, $2,500 or $3,000 for the charity that night.
The Emphysema Foundation.
It should have been. But I always had that ability to, like, into my mind, to go into this place of like, I'm going to put on the best show. I'm going to focus on that one person or the two people that's up at the front of the stage. And I'm going to give them the best show that they've ever seen in their life. And so I understand from a standpoint of like, when you're putting all your passion behind it and everything else. I think for me, I had this understanding of like, you didn't even think you were going to be here playing for anybody. You thought you were just going to be a songwriter, which songwriters are amazing. But you thought you were just going to be sitting in a room because you weren't good enough to do something until somebody else believed in you and you started to believe in yourself. And I think for guys like y'all, I mean, Jared, he's a great singer, and he's this rock star, and from the first time he probably ever sang in front of people, they're like, oh my gosh, this dude's got it, But for me, it was just kind of a different thing. So I think it's kind of cool to see how people can take into the music industry and play these shows, take the applause for what they are or what they're not, sometimes, because sometimes it's definitely what they're not. But I just think it's cool. Like, even though you've had those moments of like, why am I doing this? Or you've had those moments of why I'm doing this. It's like, you still didn't quit doing it. You know what I mean?
The pure love of it.
But what you did was you found now your value, and you said, you know what? I deserve to get this. And unless I get this, I'm not going. And it's not about the money value always. Because there's been times we've taken shows, we've turned down a show because morally it wasn't correct for us to take it, but we would have made probably the most money we'd made we were going to make.
Oh, it was going to be a big sponsor.
Yeah. Major sponsor. But they wanted to do something that we weren't morally okay with. And because of that, it didn't just cost us the one show, because the one show was for a charity. I don't want to call it a charity. It was for something that we wouldn't back. But that, because we didn't take that show, it was for the dude's wife of this major, massive company that was ready to put us on every corporate gig they had. And we're talking $100,000 budgets for me and him to come in and play acoustically, like massive shows. But because we said no to his wife, we then in turn had to lose all these other things.
Yeah.
But I told him the day he called me, he's like, man, he goes, we got to figure this out. He goes, I don't want to put your money in jeopardy. He goes, but I'm struggling with it. And he told me what it was. It's like, nah.
Can't compromise your standards.
We ain't going.
That's who you are.
But there was a time, I think, in both of our lives that would have been like, dude, we got to take it.
Well, it was one of those deals. I called pretty quick. Like they just literally, like, everything was booked and we were going. And then the assistant goes, hey, I was looking you up online and just kind of realizing what you were all about. And I think you need to know what this is.
Oh, yes.
Because we were just being hired for a gig at the time.
Yeah.
And he told me about it. And I was like, and my brain was just going, but you're paying me how much? And you want, you what?
Yeah.
And I called him immediately, and I was like, and he was like, no, and I was like, thank you.
We're raising money to build submarines for Epstein Island. I think I'm gonna have.
It wasn't that far off.
It's not far off from that. But it's funny because when he called me, he's like, man, he goes, part of my worry is like, if I said no, and you were okay with it, then I was also saying no to your money.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I said, you know me well, and that's just basically, I don't care. I'm just going to say it because we're on Uncut. The job we got offered was to come raise money for a charity. The charity was to connect kids who believe they're the opposite sex with psychiatrists, therapists.
Was this last month?
This is
this is 2019.
2019.
Wow. To
connect these kids with therapists. And at first I'm like, dude, that sounds great. They definitely need to be connected with some therapists, and they need to
We're
talk.
not done.
Yeah. And he goes, to let them know that it's okay for them to go ahead and get the sex change and completely change their body forever.
And it went further than it was raising money. so that the
This is
parents was raising money to do the operation for them
anywhere
with no sort of age limit, no sort of anything.
I said, what's the age of these kids? And they said, oh, we've done as young as 9. And I'm like,
they were also fighting to take away the rights of the parents. The parents saying no.
So I was like, I said, dude, they could offer me $1 billion and the answer would still be no.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and he's like, thank God you said that. He goes, because I was so worried about taking money out of your pocket and your family, you know. And it, of course, then, you know, COVID hit and then stuff got really weird. But I'm just saying, it's like we go through these things. We've been offered these opportunities, and sometimes we could have taken them and we could have changed our position monetarily. But I will never change my position monetarily if it changes my position morally.
For sure. If
it takes me out of God's favor, I'm not going to do that, you know. And listen, you know, I don't care. Whoever's listening to the podcast, I just want you to know that's where I stand. Is like, I'm not for it, you know. Now, if you're an adult, you're 25, you're 25 years old, and you want to go out and do something, hey, that's on you. But if you're 9 and your parents are saying no, but then the government's trying to say yeah, the answer is you're going to have to pry them out of my cold, dead hands,
well,
you know.
There's a lot to go on about that. But I think that's a whole nother.
I got into it.
I'll make sure to not be here for the continuation of this.
Two things came to my mind during the past 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
this is
on
over.
Another episode. We talked about
we just took
canceled. We weren't even popular enough to be canceled.
We
yet.
had 25 subscribers, and damn it, we're canceled.
Rumble, here we come.
And if we're not canceled, we're at least shadow banned.
Social.
On another episode, we've talked about the importance of surrounding yourself with people with the same core values where they align. How important was it there, right? Like,
oh, it was huge.
Big money, some of maybe potentially the biggest money you would have seen individually.
Life-changing money, because we're not talking about one show.
Core values, it was an easy no for both of you, whereas if it's a no for you and a yes for him or even a maybe for him, it becomes a very difficult
situation.
Florida Georgia line all over again.
There you go.
FGL only was
and
BV
the second thing I picked up on was what's going on currently was obviously them seeds were being planted at least in 2019.
Yeah, it was.
So for at least that long, them seeds have been
Yeah.
getting planted and watered. But just an observation on that.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting situation, and you know, things like that are going to come and go, you know, and
well, money comes and goes, but your opportunity to stay true to yourself should not. And if you sell your soul to make a buck, I don't know that I would ever be able to live with that. Like I am who I am, and if
you'd be able to live with it until you died, and then
the guilt would eat me alive.
He just might die sooner.
Yeah, I mean, by choice. Like the guilt would. I think the guilt would erode my brain.
I agree. Yep,
couldn't do it.
So.
Obviously, you're busy.
Yeah, well, it's been wild.
All over the country.
Yeah, coast to coast in the last.
And one of the first things
days.
we all noticed was you're in damn good shape right now.
Thanks. I blame testosterone.
Just 200 milligrams a week.
So what are our levels?
1,000. Way higher than they were when I got tested the first time.
Where they should be.
I mean, I'm working out. Look, I'm working out 6 days a week. I don't really, well, other than the meal that I just had, I haven't had fast food in a long time. I cut out all my oils. I'm very protein dense. I mean, I bench pressed 315 the other day for the first time.
Get it, boy.
You know, 1% of men in the world can do that. And that felt good, but it also felt like if I wasn't injecting 2 shots in my ass every week, that probably wouldn't happen either. But you know, I've been working out for a long time, but I've seen more results in the last 7 months than ever before. Yeah. And so, you know, 41, feel great, look great. My numbers, don't look great, but I mean, you haven't seen me with my shirt off, so I'm still average. But it's my number.
I'm way above average.
My cholesterol, all my numbers are great. And it honestly, for me, from a mental health perspective, if I don't work out, my fuse is incredibly short, if not all the way broken off.
So that's where that was my follow-up question is
for
everything you have going on, what's the importance of you being at your peak where you are right now, right? You just said 315 for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So what's the mental clarity, the peace of mind, the being able to go from LA to New York back to Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Like, do you feel like that's maybe at the top of the food chain of importance for you?
I mean, so before I even go on a trip, I've already figured out where the gym is and how I'm going to get there. And it doesn't matter if it costs me $50 to take an Uber there. I'm getting to the gym.
Yeah.
In LA, I get to jump and hurdle over homeless people, so that adds cardio element to it. So, same in Atlantic City. I run down the boardwalk, I'm jumping over needles. Yeah. It's just adds a little bit of fun to the game.
We saw that when we were there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the first thing I do when I wake up. I have some coffee or, an energy drink. I try to eat a little bit of something, and then I'm to the gym. Like when I go to Atlantic City, I literally worked in my deal that they comp my spa visit because there's a steam room and a sauna in there. I don't need a massage. I don't need a water bath. I don't need any of that stuff.
Hit those heat
elementals. I just need to work out for an hour and a half, and then go sit in a steam room or a sauna for 25 minutes.
Or both.
And I do that both.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I have to do to get me ready for the day. It's the only way I can handle all the other pressures of the day and I know that I'm still working 12 hours a day, but if I don't go to the gym and get it out, it's just going to stir in me, and I can't have all the conversations I have and do all the things that I do. I mean, my shit is literally crazy right now. And I was home 5 days from May the 1st until now. And I went from Waco, Texas for 12 days, to home for a day to see my kid graduate kindergarten, to Virginia for 4 days, to Paso Robles for 4 days, to home for 3 days, to Atlantic City for 4 days, to home to here. And it's just crazy. It's all over the place. And it's insanely hard on my wife, but we both know that there's one opportunity to take this and go with it. And it's it's not going to last forever, more than likely. It's a wave. But right now, you got to strike while the iron's hot. And I know I didn't take the opportunity to go on the show and win, to then turn down every opportunity that comes because of that. Right. So, we've had hard conversations. It's not been easy for her at all. She's got a full-time job. We're raising an 8 and a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm. She's a rock star.
It's a lot. Yeah, I'm married way up. And so
we all did as well.
Yeah,
so
if I didn't have that, if I didn't have her, none of this would be possible. I'd be a melted pool of turds on the floor.
With a corn dog stick in it.
With a corn dog stick. I owe her all the credit.
That's awesome, man.
I love it. What you have, Jared? You had something a minute ago.
No, I was just trying to bring it back to him. You took it right back to him. That's all I was trying to do.
All right. Well, I know Vinny's.
So I don't think that we ever finished, though. Like, you're riding this wave now. Is there any thought of, what you think you'd like to do? I mean, you mentioned music and being a chef. Have you got a way that you think that you combine those two? Or
so I've had a TV show idea for 13 years. It's called The Sound Kitchen, and I shot a pilot with it with Bo Reinhardt, who used to be in a band called Need to Breathe. And,
great band.
The whole concept is I have musicians come on. They play a few acoustic songs. Maybe I sit in with one or two of them. They talk about their tour, their records, the best places they've eaten while they've been on the road. And then we go into the kitchen and we make a meal together because watching people that don't know how to cook is amazing. Yeah. And then we sit down and we eat it together. And they learn something, I learn something. We share some laughs, we share some moments, and we move on. And since I've had this opportunity and, you get that blue check on Instagram and things change. It's weird. It just opens the door to having conversations. And the people that I've been able to create relationships with now is, to me, it's mind blowing. The fact that I'm friends with the guys from Shinedown is weird to me. Weird. And I was on their tour bus, and they're the most normal, down-to-earth, generous guys you would ever meet. You would never know they've had 20 years of mad success in the music industry, but they are the most humble guys. Yeah. And it's great. And, so I just want to be able to enjoy what I do. I don't know that I care what it is as long as I'm having fun doing it. I don't have a set, that whole 5-year plan thing that I used to have, I don't have it anymore. I just want to be able to take care of my family, provide for them, raise 2 good men that love each other and themselves and other people, make my wife happy and love what I do. I don't know that I care exactly what it is.
Keep that testosterone at 1,000, she will be happy.
Let's go.
So my wife and I have had that conversation so many times. And in the beginning, she felt like it was a weakness of the fact that I was constantly, maybe this. She felt like I was a ping pong ball.
Well,
the reality was
stability. We're all over the place.
The reality was that I don't really care that much. I have a lot of things that I like, and there's a lot of places I could wind up being happy. And as long as I keep those options open and go, and for me these days, it's more just waking up every day and asking God, where do you want me to go next? What do you want me to do next? Yeah. you know, and that might blow up on me one day. That might be the worst thing I ever did. But if it is, I will have lived like 70 years of like a stress-free, happy life getting there, you know?
I do want to, I mean,
I'll still be like, I won.
A big part of me is like, I want to make the world a better place in some way. And for me, like childhood hunger is one of those things. So the fact that I, like a lot of what I do is trying to raise money for Second Harvest Food Bank and the backpack program. And so I want to be able to, I feel like if you've got the ability to be a blessing to people, but you don't use it, why do you have it? Yep. Why have it?
See, we have that talk every day, man. Like that's.
I came home from Atlantic City. Traeger had sent me 2 grills for free. They were on my back porch. I had to put them together, but still, which that took like half a day. But I had a Traeger. I had a Traeger, and so I was like, well, what am I going to do with this one? Well, let me give it away to somebody for $10. I'll do a raffle, and with all the $10 that I raise, I'll donate that to Second Harvest Food Bank. That'll raise $1,700. It feeds like 500 kids for the summer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a cool way to do that. And then a worship pastor from Shelbyville got a 2-year-old Traeger. But like, I enjoy doing things like that. But I'm like you. I am a guy that can get excited about almost anything. Like if I all of a sudden figure out I love Indian food, dude, I can be happy making Indian food if the vibe is right, if the people are right, if I'm treated right. If I love it, I can make pita bread and naan and curries and all that stuff. I can make it all day long. I just want to like what I do. I just want to wake up and go, dude, I get to go to work today. Not, oh, God, I got to go to work today.
Yeah.
No, that's the worst.
I can't do that. No matter how much money, I can't do that.
It's the worst.
That simple phrasing is like, I get to versus I got to. And that's such a huge, when you can reach that point to where you're like, dude, I get to go do this, or I get to go write a song. I get to go, you know, when you can reach that point, I mean, you've really, people ask, well, what do you consider success? That's exactly what I consider success. When you can say, I get to do this instead of I got to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I mean, we so my wife and I started flipping some houses. She's in design and real estate, and she's phenomenal. And she started a remodeling crew, and one thing led to another. And now we've been flipping some houses together. And it's the first time in my life, like I'll wake up at 5:15 and get up, put on work boots, and head out the door. And that sounded miserable to me a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like I still wake up, and I'm like, I'm excited to go do whatever I'm doing. Now, once I get home, I still pretty much go straight to the piano, and I spend a few minutes there. Like there's just realizing like all these different things and all these abilities you have. You know, if you can figure out a way to harness those all into your life, then you just get to be totally happy, and the money just will come in.
Yeah,
things will keep trickling in. You know,
not for me. Similar to what he's saying is, I'm not good at building anything. But especially not Traeger grills, but I will take a free one.
There's a lot of they come with like 3D videos to watch. They're that complicated.
But you know, I thought for a long time my gift was, you know, I was kind of the comic relief. I mean, I was breakdancing at 500 pounds. I was a gimmick, and I enjoyed writing songs. You know, so I thought that was my identity. That's where I was. And I started to realize that my gift that God gave me wasn't anything to do with the music or that. I mean, that's part of it, but it was this personality of being willing to get on stage and talk with anybody and keep the show going and keep the flow going, the hosting type thing and all that kind of stuff. So I started hosting. The next thing you know, I'm auctioneering. The next thing you know, I'm, you know, working with other artists and doing these things. So it's like when you open yourself up to the gifts that God gave you and you let them be what they are, and then you utilize those, I think it carries you a long way. And, you know, for a guy like Jared, who literally is good at everything, except for one thing.
Sports. I'm not.
Sports.
Not,
yeah.
You're gonna make
jumping
it
is my least. Jumping's my least best quality, by the way. I can clear about 9 inches.
I can't jump either.
I can't jump from a stair to a stair.
Yeah. But
like,
this
I
guy,
need a handicap rail to sit on the toilet. That's how bad. It's bad. He knows my knees. They are terrible.
He just like he can build stuff. He's good at music. He's a great songwriter. He's a good, you know, musician. Like he has all these things he's good at. He's a good husband. The kids love him. Adults love him. Everybody loves him, except for one person.
My ex-wife.
I think she still loves you, probably. There's only one person that don't love you. It's an idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
An idiot.
I know where we're going with
I
that.
didn't know where that was going.
They're just wrong.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
there's a lot of those.
There are a lot of
So
those.
it's not just
But,
one person.
but we don't actually count them as people.
It's like 4 billion.
Oh, I meant one type of person. One type of
Okay.
person.
It's 4
Idiots.
billion people hate you.
I feel like a lot more people hate me than love me at this point.
I'd say every person
Nah.
that has a Jesus is Lord sticker on their car probably hates me because I get behind them and I'm like, drive faster. Honking my horn.
Honk if you love Jesus.
You talking about them World Outreach
Yeah,
magnets?
they're all driving 30 miles an hour on the interstate. Is that a new tree? I haven't seen that tree before.
Hey, we're going to change subject for just a second
Yeah,
because you
Smooth
brought up Traeger
transition.
and everything. So I'm going to throw a bone out to one of our boys that supports a lot of the causes that we do. Andy Holmes over there. Have any of you guys been to Tennessee Meat Co?
Yep.
Shit
It
don't
takes me
stop.
35 minutes to get there, but I've been there.
Dude,
Tag's
man.
way closer for me.
I picked up some of the best, one of the best meals I've had in a long time. I'm a huge grilling. I mean, obviously not anything like you, but I grill pretty nonstop. And my son was coming home from the Air Force, and I went in there and I was like, I need some special stuff. I want everything you guys want to eat. On any given day, I want all of it in one sitting. And so the meat guy picked out elk, kangaroo,
I knew he was going to put kangaroo in
Mm-hmm.
there.
Wagyu strip, and an Italian tomahawk, which I'd never had. They said they didn't get it very often. That tomahawk kicked my ass, dude. That thing was so good. The rest of it was good.
Yeah.
But I realized through that, I was like, no, I'm still a steak guy. I'm still going to lean back to that steak. But, dude, the assortment of meat they have in there is phenomenal.
Even
I love the
Japanese
hang.
A5 Wagyu these days.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what this guy did to me, and Mr. Andy Holmes. They were the caterer at the Craig Campbell Celebrity Cornhole Tournament that I played in for CMA Fest. And he brings me this big old plate of meat. I love meat. So if you want to cook something, let me know. And I started eating this meat, and I saved these specific ones for last because they look like pieces of steak that were wrapped in bacon, and they had little toothpicks in them. So I'm like, that's got to be awesome. Well, I pulled the toothpick out. I take the whole thing, I put it in my mouth, chew it up, and had a big old jalapeno right in the middle of it. And I had no clue. I can't stand hot stuff. It kills me. And next thing you know, I'm over there. I'm trying to find. I got my water jug there. We're in the middle of the hot sun. I'm running around. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "You didn't tell me there was a jalapeno in there." Which he's like, "It's just a jalapeno." I'm like, "Yeah, but for me, that's like might as well be a ghost pepper, you know." So, anyways, the meat was phenomenal. Watch out for those hidden peppers. That's all I'm saying.
So I can't imagine expecting steak and getting jalapeno.
Oh, there was steak.
Oh, so there was some steak.
The jalapeno was inside the steak with cream
One
cheese.
slice?
No, it was like rolled up in bacon and it was like
Like
one,
a jalapeno popper.
but with steak around
Got
it.
a buffalo turd.
Well, whatever it was delicious until I got hot. But I just want to let you know, he didn't let me know that there was a jalapeno in there.
I
So,
believe
Andy,
I texted him Saturday night, Andy,
yeah,
and it was roughly, I'm going to call it 9 p.m. And he actually responded, and I said, "Do you have a few minutes for a phone call?" Because I was going to see if they would provide the food for the rye night coming up.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm in Italy. Wife is in bed. It's 2:30 a.m. here, but I can step outside if you need me to." And I'm thinking to myself, if I stepped outside for a phone call at 3 a.m. in the morning
with my wife.
and my wife wakes up
Hey, I gotta
and sees me outside on the phone
sounds hideous.
at 3 a.m.
What are you wearing, Jake, from State Farm?
Probably not going to go
'cause he's
so
a
good.
dude.
Khakis and a polo?
You
So
sound idiot.
I politely said, "Yeah, don't worry about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to step outside and call me." But,
But once again, the people you surround yourself with,
there you go.
that's what he
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know,
Because he loves you. Back to the situation at hand, the food. Here's something I want to dive in with you. And I don't just mean a swimming pool full of spaghetti, because that would be cool too. But here's what I want to know.
I die in
Fear
that scenario.
Carb overload.
Yeah. So let me ask you
You
this.
gotta
So
eat your way out of here in
when
12
was
hours.
it, like, when was it or what was it that made you decide, like, I'm a chef and I know how to cook? Was it just, you just started cooking for your buddies and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm a good chef? Or was there like a thought behind, dude, I enjoy this so much?
Yeah, none of my moments in life have had light bulbs.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been like I'm going to be a chef.
Yeah.
It was growing up around food, my grandmother was literally the quintessential Southern cook, wringing chickens' necks, dipping them in boiling water, picking off the feathers, making chicken and dumplings, buttermilk biscuits, buttermilk pancakes, fried okra.
I don't want to meet
boiled
your grandma.
custard. Well, she's with the Lord now.
Mine too, Dad.
But, you know, it was growing up like that and then working in restaurants from the time I was 17 until, you know, now. And the restaurant industry is a weird thing. You can find yourself just being stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're just in it. And it's like, it just becomes who you are. And you're like, and I think at one point you're like, I think I like this. I think I love it. I keep going from restaurant to restaurant, but I think I can do this. And I think I might want to be a chef. And then I was very politely asked to leave MTSU my junior year. You know, great having you, but
get out.
Don't come back. You and your 1.46 GPA. I got no problem getting on campus. It's the walking to the classroom that was the problem because I was like, I'd bump into, you gonna go play disc golf and get a margarita at La Siesta? And I'm like, that sounds phenomenal. I'd much rather do that than go to algebra. And so I failed a lot of classes. And but I was in bands in college and working in restaurants, and I just realized college is not my thing. College is not for everybody.
It's not.
And they need to, all the kids need to understand, you don't have to go to college. Like, there are plenty of ways to get money and have jobs and careers that you love without attending a four-year university that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Yeah. And so I dropped out of college in 2002 and then was in bands, working in restaurants, and then in 2006, I decided, I was like, I think I might go to culinary school. And then I did, and I graduated with a 4.0, top of my class. Just obliterated everybody. Like, it was just natural for me. Like
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, it was just natural. But like, I was the guy that would come home and buy a 50-pound sack of, like, a case of potatoes and literally work on my knife cuts on the potatoes in the house, and small dice, large dice, oblique, tournée. Like, I was doing all of those things in my kitchen. And I just spent so much time working in restaurants that I didn't have the concept of I'm going to be Rachel Ray. That's not what food is. Most people that went to culinary school loved the Food Network and thought being a chef was easy. They didn't understand it's not. It's a 12-hour day doing monotonous, tedious shit like peeling potatoes, slicing onions. Plating the food is sexy. That's not what you do 98% of your day. It's dealing with P&Ls and ordering and inventory, and your dishwasher didn't show up on a Friday night. Your bartender just quit, and it's the second week of December, and you're getting crushed. I was literally bartending in my restaurant in a chef coat for 3 weeks every night.
Yeah. Best old-fashioned I've ever had, though.
Like, I had a few ex-girlfriends walk in one Saturday night, and I was literally doing the job that I did when we dated 25 years ago. And I was like, I swear to God, I own this place right now. I'm just making martinis for fun.
What? Everything's fine.
Bartender quit, tried to bribe me.
I see you over there.
But you know, so we have a youth nonprofit, and that's one of the biggest things we talk about with them is that everyone has these ideas on every career. This is easy. This is easy. Like I said, my wife's in design. Yeah, everyone likes putting the pretty little things in the room. Yeah, that's the fun part. Yeah. The part that they don't see that she's doing is all the orders, like you said. And this didn't show up. And this person didn't show up to do the plumbing, and now we're behind on this. And da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, the fun part, and the same way with the stage. We hit that stage for those 90 minutes or 2 hours. That's the fun part. But no one saw all the crap that came before that.
The bad songs
and they're like,
that you wrote.
You got paid how much for 2 hours? Like, no.
I got paid that much for 20 years.
Right. You know, and but it's like that with everything. And so that's one of the big things we try to get our youth to understand is like everything you want to do, everyone else also wants to do that. You're in competition with everyone else.
And I'm just in competition. Like, my only enemy is in my head. That's the way I see it.
You versus you.
And people think that, like, there's not one part of me that thinks I am not blessed. I am so lucky. I am blessed. To win the show to get on the show, 18,000 people applied. To get on it was a miracle. To win it was a miracle in itself. And then to do all these things is amazing. But, like, traveling is exhausting.
Yeah.
Being on an airplane is exhausting. Waiting for your bag in LAX is exhausting. Getting in Ubers, not knowing where you are, what time zone, where you're going, where you're doing this, it's exhausting. It's fun, but it's a lot. But people that see that, I'll make a reel out of being somewhere, and they're like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. I'm like, part of it was. A lot of it was work, though.
And I had to make this reel.
And I had to make this reel on an airplane. I was so tired. But my favorite story about like the worth of you at a job that people don't see. There's a factory, the machine cranks out like 1 million parts a day. The machine goes down. They don't know how to fix it. So they call the one guy that knows how to fix it. He says, I'll be there tomorrow. Shows up. They tell him what's going on. There's smoke coming out of this part of the machine. We don't know how to work it. It's not operating correctly. We can't make our parts because it's not working. So the guy's like, okay. So he goes over here and he taps on this and taps on that. He pulls out his hammer. He opens a panel and he gives it one good whack. The whole machine fires up. And the guy's like, oh my God, thank you. You saved our business so much. Just send me an invoice and I'll get it taken care of. So the guy's like, all right, I'll take care of it later. A couple days later, a guy gets an invoice. It's $25,000. And he's like, I need you to send me an itemized invoice. What is this? You were here for 5 minutes. You hit the machine with a hammer one time. Why is it $25,000? So the guy sends back an itemized invoice and it says hammer, $5. Knowing where to hit the hammer, $24,995. And that, to me, I gained so much from hearing that story because it's like, it didn't just take you 10 minutes to make this sandwich. Yeah. It didn't just take me 20 minutes to make this meal. It didn't just take you 20 minutes to write that song. It didn't just take you 30 minutes or 1 hour to play that set. It took you 25 years of hard-ass work to learn how to have the charisma and the stage presence and the vocal training and the guitar skills and the piano skills and the bad nights and the nights where you were racking your brain over what lyric rhymes with orange and all those things to be able to get up on that stage and kill it. Yeah. Well, you're not just paying for it now.
That's one of the things we always say. People are like, man, you're so lucky you get paid to play music. I'm like, hang on a second. Like you just said, I don't get paid to play music. I would do that sitting at the house. What I get paid for is being away from my family for 3 straight weeks. What I get paid for is coming up here on stage, getting all the sound checks done, getting all the stuff I don't like. That's what I'm getting paid for.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Being in a van, sometimes a tour bus, sometimes a van, sometimes a plane, whatever we're in, for 15, 16, 36
And what I probably
hours.
learned the most about it is how to pack a trailer, if I'm honest. That's what I'm best at.
You were really good at Tetris. Oh, he's a Tetris expert.
Yeah. The whole being like, I think I actually have a line item in there now for like charging you for being away from my family.
Yeah.
Because that's almost priceless.
Yeah.
Like to not tuck my kids in and to not have them run down the stairs in the morning and give me, because that's not going to last.
Right.
But to have them run down the stairs and be like, I love you, Daddy, so much.
Yeah.
That's worth a lot. And so I was in Waco, Texas for like 11 days. And it's like, I can charge you just for the cooking, but man, you're asking me to live away from my family for 11 days. That's, I don't know how to put a price on that.
And I'll give you a different one on that because my kids are a little older now. And I thought that part would go away because they were older and they weren't around as much. But, and I know my wife's going to listen to this, and I know she'll agree. One of the things that for some reason women don't talk to other women about much is what it's like when those kids aren't there.
Oh, they hate it.
Because all of a sudden she was alone. Now when I left, she had those kids around that were supposedly driving her nuts. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was I left and she was alone. You don't realize until that happens, like how much more she needs you then and how much more active you have to stay. Because now it's, with the kids, the bad and good part of the kids is that you don't have to guess what you need to be doing right now. There's so many needs right there that you're like, okay, I'll clean this and I'll do this and you understand how to take care of your wife a little bit and you feel bad that you're gone and you can't. It's a different story whenever the kids are gone then and you're like, wait, what's wrong with you? Everything is exactly the way that it was, and you have less going because you don't have the kids, right? And you're like, no. And so it's a whole new game of learning that situation.
My kids will drive my wife nuts.
and you love it.
They will literally go to the grandmother's house, and within 30 minutes, she's like, I miss them. I'm like, what? You were just batting your head up against the wall going, they're driving me crazy. Can't wait to get them gone. And now you're like, I just want them here.
Yeah. my stepmom, and this is a sad thing, but also a true thing, but my dad passed away in my brother's senior year. And so my brother obviously was still living at the house and my little sister was living there. And we had a sister that was 1 year older than my other brother. So they're all living there at the house constantly. It's noise. It's loud. It's, there was 3 kids and three kids, 3 adults. Cause my uncle lived there as well with my cousin Terry, who was mentally challenged. 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. So there was no alone time. It was just constant go, 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 all kinds of stuff happening loud. And I remember her making this statement. It's like, I just wish I had some alone time. I just wish I had a few minutes to myself. And I was talking to her a few years back. My dad had died. Now everybody's moved out. She's just there by herself all the time. And she said, I would give anything if it was so loud and obnoxious and that I had to be picking up people after people and cooking and, wondering, who was going to get in the shower and, who was going to be next in the bathroom and how long is it going to take them before the next one is mad about it or somebody has to go to the bathroom at the same time. Because I'd give anything if it was that loud and crazy in here right now.
Well, it's that saying, enjoy the ride. And that's what I'm all about these days is just looking at what is my current moment? What are the blessings in that moment? Let's take those in and enjoy those because that's going to change. And when I get to that next phase of my life, like my wife asked me at one point, she was like, why do you not seem to be as bothered by the children not being here as I am? And I was like, because I've been trying to be alone with you for freaking 18 years. Like
we can have sex all the time now.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like 1,000.
I'm looking forward to what my relationship looks like with my kids moving forward. I'm not holding on to that, they're not 4 anymore. And they don't run up the way that they did before. I'm very much looking at what is the friendship going to look like now? What are the lessons that you're going to allow me to teach you now? What are the things that you're going to go against? Just who are you going to be? I'm more excited about whatever the next day is than how exciting the past was.
Well, I'm an emotional wreck every single day. I mean, I sit there. I literally say, I'm a girl, I guess, when it comes to this. But when I see my son in his little Superman outfit or his Spider-Man outfit or whichever outfit he decides to wear that day, because he always is in an outfit, I know one of these days will be the last time he puts on that outfit.
That's hard.
And it hits me in the heart.
Unless it's not, and that might also be sad.
And then your iPhone makes these video recaps.
I know.
And puts sad music on. It's like, in the arms of... You're like, oh my God. He was eating that French fry that day. And you're like, it's just
unless my son grows up to be Superman. Because that's his game plan at the moment.
I mean, he could be a cosplayer. Everything's possible.
Hey, so I know that they've given us a cue that we got to start wrapping up, like a long time ago. But
don't listen to him.
So I want to know: is there anything that you want to add to letting people know about you, or just tell us? I'm curious. Like, what's your go-to food? Not to cook, to eat.
You want to like what do I eat the most often?
What do you want to eat the most
double
often?
Cheeseburger.
Double cheeseburger.
That's my death row meal.
He makes a fantastic smash burger.
Like my death row meal is a double cheeseburger followed by sushi with vanilla ice cream and peanut M&Ms. I'm a very simple man.
I mean, I'm on with all that.
I'm a very simple man.
I'm on with all that.
What do I normally eat? I normally cook a New York strip or salmon in beef fat, and then that's pretty much my meal. I don't really eat a lot of sides. I generally want to have something in my mouth
like 10
in
to 12
10 to
ounces?
15 minutes. Yeah.
10 to 12 ounces.
Like an 8-ounce piece of fish or like a 10 or 12 ounce New York strip.
Salmon, because you got your fat.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. I cook in beef fat and based with butter, and I'm pretty much out the door. That's my food. But I can also have it
Are you
completely
kind of on the
cooked.
carnivore thing?
Kind of. I have to add some fruits and vegetables because my stomach does not like a just meat. Yeah, it does not like just a meat diet because it gives me
toothbrush in the stomach.
A little bit of liquid poos, but mix it up a little bit. Throw a banana in there in the morning, get some radiation in there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to eat much cleaner and just take care of myself a little bit more.
For all the Hell's Kitchens fans out there, least favorite moment, favorite moment.
Man, the least favorite moment had to be just trying to sleep. Like dealing with being a grown man that has like certain habits at night, sleeping in a cold room that's a blackout curtains with a sound machine on. There's not a camera on you. There's not a microphone attached to you.
You're the same person.
I went from sleeping in a 65-degree bedroom that's dark on a king-size bed with Tempur-Pedic pillows to sleeping on a twin-size box spring with 5 other dudes on CPAP machines with stage lights on, and it was 85 degrees.
Can we get a replay of that?
I got no sleep. I slept 90 minutes a day for 3 weeks.
We need the replay.
Brutal.
We need your replay.
And then you got Billy.
Darth Vader.
Who was like a rhinoceros on cocaine who plugs in his CPAP machine, and in 10 minutes he's just... And I'm like, I've never in my life seen one of these things. What is happening? And then AB starts snoring, but there's no rhythm to their, like, I can't get like a, it's like,
Got a little apnea in there. It's a little apnea.
So night one, Billy plugs in his CPAP machine, and so does Zeus. 10 minutes, they're in the nether realm sleeping, but the breaker pops. Well, I don't know if you know this about a CPAP machine.
I did. I used to have one.
If there's no power, but you're gassed and masked up, you're not getting any oxygen. Yeah. So they both start choking. In their sleep. They rip it off. Billy is like hyperactive. They're trying to fucking kill me, bro. Running through the entire Hell's Kitchen dorm, waking everyone up at 3 a.m. in his underwear. They're trying to fucking kill me, bro. They're trying to kill me. And we're all just like, oh, this is night. We've all been awake for like 40 hours. We do not know each other. I did signature dish, lost the competition, had to clean both kitchens by hand, all the pots and pans, and do delivery day with like 8 semi-trucks. And then we were up until 2:30 in the morning and trying to go to sleep. I slept 0 for like 3 days. Took a Benadryl and then tanked face down.
I like it.
Gone. It was wild. It was a wild experience, and I would 100% do it again.
I love it.
I love it.
I got my CPAP because when I went on Biggest Loser and I was in a room with a guy that was used to wearing it, and he had like this little thing just poked right in his nose. Yeah. It was good. Me, I had this full face mask because I couldn't figure out how to get it to stop turning off on the side. But mine was like 21 times an hour. His was 48 times a minute.
Wow.
48 times a minute. And he wasn't even the worst one on the show. Ramon was actually the worst one. He was like 61 times a minute.
What does that mean, times a minute?
Your body's constantly like fighting for air, like going into fight or flight mode.
Good God.
So mine was like 21 times an hour. His was 48 times a minute. So not even a full minute.
So almost every second he was almost dying?
Every second, 1.1 second. Not dying, it's just that the passageway is cutting off. Now, when he had a CPAP on, he was fine.
Right.
But some point in the night, that thing would always come off, and you just got, like, dude, is he going to die? And but you know what? What I realized after I learned how to use that CPAP, man, I never slept better in my life because you had to concentrate.
Right.
So because me, I'm a thinker. As soon as I laid in bed, I said, dude, I got an idea. And my mind starts twisting on what am I going to do tomorrow? I got this going on. I got that. You put that thing on, you're like.
I think you put this on, it's like anesthesia. You're just gone.
Yeah, you put it on and you're out, dude, because your mind has to concentrate on just breathing. And I enjoyed the CPAP. But you know who don't like the CPAPs? The person that's sleeping beside you that doesn't have a CPAP.
100%.
Because
you just sleep with a bunch of psychos in your room. You're kind of like sleeping with one eye open anyway, wondering who's going to try to stab you in the middle of the night. Yeah. I've never seen these guys.
I was rooming with John. He won our season, and he was the red flag. There's 2 red flags on our season. And which me and him got along great. He was always, I think that's probably why they roomed us together. But a lot of people didn't like him. But I was like, dude, I think he's great. Although I did wake up one time and he was standing over me, and I was like, shit. He goes, can I pray for you? I'm like, you don't have to now.
I'm already praying.
My heart, I left my body. He won the whole show. I mean, we all knew he would because the first day we're like, dude, this guy cut off a leg to win this thing. But yeah, he was actually a nice guy. He got painted kind of be more of a villain on our season, but he was actually a nice guy. So.
Favorite moment? We didn't cover that, right?
I mean,
winning.
Well, yeah, that's like the go-to answer that, for me, I have 2 really. Watching my wife react.
That's cool.
I may cry. Watching Sarah react like that when I won, every time I see it, it makes me emotional.
So proud,
because everybody needs someone in their life that gets that excited when they see you win.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want to see you win.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to see you fail. Yeah. And I've known people for 20, 30 years that don't really want to talk to me anymore because of the success. And it's like, they're mad that I've gotten it.
Yeah.
And
they don't
like,
even want to see you try because then they feel guilty if they're not trying.
Yep. But watching my wife lose her absolute mind for like 5 minutes was awesome. And probably the next best was signature dish. First time giving anything to Gordon. It was a dish, like y'all don't know the whole backstory of my restaurant, but it was hard. Like it was a tough sell. And I put everything I had into that place. It meant the world to me. It was named after my grandparents. I cared about it so much, and it affected me so much, and made me a bit of an angry person for a long time, but I cared so much. And the first dish I served Gordon was a dish from that menu.
That's awesome.
And he gave it a 5 out of 5. And I was like, that for me.
What's the dish? I got to know what it is.
It was a spice crusted salmon with Carolina gold rice, maple harissa carrots, and a chorizo broth.
I want it right now.
It's fantastic.
Now, it was literally fish, rice, and carrots.
Yeah.
But,
Flavored the right
doing
way.
things the right way with them. But getting the valid, like, I always wondered if Dallas and Jane was good. Like, it's good to me, but
Yeah.
is it good? You're biased about things that you create.
Well, you create it to your palate,
You're
what you
personally
like.
attached to it. Like, man, check this song out that I wrote. And they're like, bro, this is terrible. You're like, no, it's great. Look, absolutely not. You said biscuit 10 times in this song.
You mean me buying stock by showing up that often didn't
No.
verify it was that good?
Well, I just thought you loved me.
Well, I do that
And
too.
and coal
Hey,
miners.
the first TikTok I ever made was with this guy at Dallas and Jane.
I'd never seen TikTok. He's like, bro, you're not on TikTok? I'm like, what is the TikTok? He's like, you got to get on TikTok. But it was hearing Gordon say, phenomenal, it's balanced, everything's great, it's cooked perfectly. That was almost like I'm sorry, one more time now? What now?
That's awesome.
But it was to hear that validated the restaurant, because I was told by my dad in 2006 that I was a pussy for going to culinary school, because nobody cares about food. People just eat to live. Why can't I just
Has
go?
he seen America?
Why can't I go?
fat.
Why can't I go get a real man's job? And so pretty much everything that I've done to push myself to this point has been to prove him wrong.
I love that when
Done
somebody says, get a real job. I'm like, I make money doing what I'm doing. Yeah, but you don't got a real job.
But you're not in the
You mean
military.
because I don't hate it? It's like, you need to have a real job. Anyways, I love
I
those
think
stories.
you hit that. A real job is a job that you hate.
Yeah.
That's what a real job.
Because then it's work.
Oh, you may be as miserable as you. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my,
I'm good.
my
I'm not
experience
signing
in the
up for that.
culinary worlds, I was a Sonic general manager by the time I was 20, and fast food obviously is way
You got
different.
great ice.
It's the best ice. I mean, that's what everybody wanted. But when you were
corn
talking
dogs.
earlier about, you got to do your order, you got to make the food, you got to do all these things and run these certain goals and do all this other stuff. I loved Sonic. I loved working at Sonic. It was my favorite fast food restaurant to eat at. He hates Sonic. But hey, you trying to wrap me up over here?
You're not supposed to draw attention to that.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna draw attention to it.
I think their cheeseburgers are the worst cheeseburgers
He was
I've ever
asking
had.
if
Oh
you two
my
were going
gosh.
to wrap
You got to
it
go to
up.
my
Like, are
Sonic.
you gonna,
If you went to
like-
my Sonic,
Because you're a rapper, you can rap.
I can wrap it
Sponsored
up.
by Sonic.
Here's all I'm saying. If you go to a good Sonic where they cook it to order, it's great. But if you go to a bad Sonic where they're trying to hold stuff, they don't have warming plates and stuff in there, and they got it sitting on the side of the grill and it's no good, it's no good. Anyways,
Sonic, sponsor this man.
It's one of the big things we disagree on, but
yeah, he hates Sonic.
It's not good.
Everybody's like, I like Whataburger better. They use the exact same patties, the exact same salt and pepper mix, everything else. Anyways,
I'm a Shake Shack man.
we are wrapping this up. So, so I want to do one of this since we already did the best moment, worst moment. Now you told your favorite meal that meant the world to you because he loved that meal. Was there something that you thought he was going to love that he was like, this is shit?
Nope.
Yeah, that's why you won the whole show.
I'm the only person that never got put up for elimination. My name never even got mentioned for elimination.
He slayed
with
it. He slayed it.
I'm telling you, it's the wildest thing. If you go watch the show,
I'm going to watch it. I got to watch it now.
from
I've never seen
episode,
it.
I get told every single day, we had you pegged as the winner from episode 1. Now, I can honestly tell you, living it, never felt like I was going to win. Behind the door, before I walked out the door,
Yeah.
I did not think I had it. Even though I knew that I had performed better than Daphne, I'd never got put up for elimination, but I was old. Gordon does not pick old people. I'm the oldest person to ever win Hell's Kitchen by like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, but you're good looking old.
I was fat on the show. That camera added 10 chins.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't have it. And then when I walked through the door, I was totally bewildered. I
That's
couldn't
awesome.
believe it was me. It's crazy. But if you watch it, I look like Superman has come down from Krypton to reign over all these poor people. Like,
Ta-da!
look at my laser eyes. But I didn't.
Was there
it
another
crazy.
chef on there that I mean, I know you probably respected everybody, but was there a chef on there that you're like, I love their food? They were really good.
Alejandro and Daphne both, I mean, absolutely destroyed it.
Just great
They're
food.
both incredibly talented. Alejandro is insanely creative. And he and I and Daphne are like the three amigos. Like
Love it.
we all still talk. We all still do dinners together. We,
Well, the next
most
time
of
you'll
us
have
still
a
have
party and
friendship.
you're all three going to be cooking, I would like to be invited. That's all I'm saying.
that's right.
We need to do one
need
in
an
Nashville.
invite.
We need to do one in Nashville or
do
Murfreesboro.
it. Do it.
Let's do it.
Let's
we can
do a
make it a
charity
charity
event.
thing. Yeah.
Oh. As long as it pays for their travel and they can make a little money, then
Oh, we can make that
I'm
happen.
cool
That's-
for it.
that's
Yeah,
not a problem.
absolutely.
We that would be a great
Yeah.
charity night. We'll just me and you'll play and you.
We'd
get you
sell
up
it
to
out
sing.
in
You'll sing
a
too.
heartbeat. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
I've been doing pop-ups and they sell it in less than 60 seconds.
dude, let's do it. That's our next charity
There we
event.
go.
Which to me is
Bam.
mind-blowing. The fact
Yeah,
that I
it's
can
fi-
sell
it's
anything out in
fire.
60 seconds is like, they're already gone? I literally just made the page live. It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
I'm
dope.
in with it.
All right. Like, comment, share, 5 stars.
5 stars.
Subscribe. And you have always got something to add.
Oh, I'm still right there. I'm saying, if you want to send some hate in, I got you. I don't care. Let us know about it. I'm sure, positive that some of you got pissed off about at least one thing that we said.
There is not a doubt. Some of you are angry.
And we
and
still
quit
don't
listening
care.
at minute 26.
Bring it up.